So just wrapped up a day of work. Also went out with my girlfriend to a restaurant since we're celebrating Valentine's a bit early. Um, I think I just didn't really film a lot today, but one thing that I want to just touch on, just to check in. And yes, today I did the 3 hour morning work and did a workout and some cold water exposure, and I did my routine. But what I want to touch on is one core fundamental thing that needs to be in place in order to have a tremendous amount of progress. And this is kind of something that I'm a bit talking to myself here as well as talking to the camera, but it's also maybe valuable to someone out there. So that thing is figuring out what the ideal end outcome is for you. So what it looks like what are you trying to do? What do you want? What do you want for yourself? Like, what's the life that you want to live? How does that look specifically? And I don't think it's hard, to think long term and to figure out kind of like what you actually want. You might not even know, but I think one thing that's super helpful is being more specific in that and seeing super long term, like 5 to 10 years ahead, and visualize and imagine like what is the ideal life that you want to have for yourself, not based off of what other people want or what they think is the ideal outcome, but what is ideal for you. Like, how much money do you need to make? How many hours per day do you want to spend working? um, what do you want to do? Do you want to live in one city? Do you want to be able to travel around and work from wherever you want? And do you want to, be a solopreneur, just have your own thing, be a freelancer? Like, be very clear about this, because that's something I didn't. I mean, I kind of did it a bit, but not well enough in the beginning, and I kind of ended up just as a, something between a freelancer and a solopreneur for a long time. And I didn't really have that hard conversation with myself about what I actually wanted. Like, because when I'm real with myself and when I realize what I do now, which is like, I want a company of, 10 plus people ultimately, working with a lot of big brands, and, working more with higher client, like top level clients, e-commerce brands, and partnering with e-commerce brands, and not just this kind of like freelance nitty gritty where I'm like actually operating the whole business. Is kind of more like freelance at this stage. And now I'm getting better at least slightly better at finding talent and delegating a lot of tasks so I can focus on the one thing that is important to get to, at least like 50 to 100K per month, maybe even 1 million, which is just sales. You just need to sell. And yes, you need service delivery and retention of clients. But what you actually need, even more than that, if you're going to build a business, you just have to have some skills in what you're doing, and you need to be good at following up with clients. That's kind of a given. But for me, what I kind of forget in this is like the volume of sales that needs to be done in order to scale a business. It is so much more than, what you can even wrap your mind around when you're starting out. It's not like doing 10 outreach per day, sending a few emails here and there. No, it's like thousands of outreach and like posting videos and doing inbound and outbound and testing different hooks and lead magnets and all these kind of things. Like, it's so much more work than you can even imagine in the beginning. At least that was for me. And realizing that, and realizing what that means in terms of what I want as an outcome, it makes it pretty clear where the gap is, like what I'm not doing, which I absolutely just have to be doing if I want to get to where I say I want to get. So the key takeaway from what I'm saying here is just basically sit down, write down what you actually want, and be very clear with yourself. You know, look around and get some inspiration here and there, but figure out like what do you actually want for yourself, you know? And once you know specifically what that is, where you are, how much you work, what you work on, how much you make, then you can reverse engineer that into what you need to do every day, you know, hour by hour, to get to that point. And one way you can do that is look at other people that got to where you want to go, and you know, figure out what did they do. Like do some research and yeah, look into the step-by-step things that they did. Like, did they focus a lot on just, you know, day-to-day stuff or working with clients, or did they do a lot of sales and inbound and outbound, lead generation and that stuff? So yeah, just a little rant, but I think it's important to be very clear with yourself, because time is moving pretty fast, you know. It's very easy to just all of a sudden be at some stage and look back and then realize, shit, I should have done this, you know. And that, in my opinion, that must be like the worst feeling. Like, I already have it a bit now at 23, I'm soon 24, and it's like, if I just pushed through and got to the point of the understanding that I have about things now, and I could apply those things earlier on, I would be so much further ahead. So, but instead of just, you know, beating yourself up about that, I think it's good to take that lesson and apply it right now. Figure out, okay, where do I want to be? Okay, I'm not there because I don't know how to get there. So let's figure out how to get there. There's some information that I don't have, some understanding, some perspective that I don't have, that I need to get somehow, or at least understand, so I can start working towards that perspective. And, you know, just don't just sit around and do the same things you do all the time, because obviously, unless you feel you have amazing progress, then it's not no magic is going to happen. It's just there's some things you're not doing that you need to be doing, and if you're doing it but you're still not getting the results, then you need to do it in another way. So yeah, it sounds simple, but by being a human, we are emotional, we are not always rational. It is easy to lose track of where we're going and what we're actually doing on a day-to-day basis, and where our focus goes, which is super important. So yeah, didn't film today, but I thought I'd hop on here and share that lesson or thought that I had, and hopefully maybe it will be valuable to someone. If not, I know it will be valuable for me, because it's something I need to remind myself of more often. So yeah.